Joseph Rudyard Kipling was born on the 30th of December, 1865 in Bombay, India. His birth took place during the colonial rule of the British government in India. A few weeks before he was born, his parents had just arrived in India as part of the British Empire. His father was a reputable artist and the head of the Department of Architectural Sculpture at the Jeejeebhoy School of Art in Bombay. While growing up, Joseph fell in love with the country's culture and felt like he actually belonged there. However, at the age of 6, Joseph's life became very uneasy as his mother decided to send him back to England so he could receive a formal education. Getting to live in England was totally unconventional and inconvenient for young Joseph. His mother kept him under the care of a foster family called the Holloways, where he was physically abused by his foster mother and bullied by his peers. Joseph couldn't perform well in school. His grades were terribly poor, and there was no one who could help. But whenever he was down in devastation, he usually resorted to reading books. Reading made him feel a little better and free from depression for a while. When his foster mother discovered this habit, she seized all his books and locked him up in his room. At age 11, one of Joseph's relatives paid him a visit and noticed his pitiful condition. Joseph's mother was contacted immediately to come emancipate her naive son from the terrible foster home he had been living in for about 6 years. In 1882, Joseph returned to India to meet his parents. With help from his father, he started working at a local newspaper where he discovered his talent as a literary writer. Joseph wrote stories about his surroundings and a typical way of life in India. In a period of 3 years, this young man wrote 40 stories which he assembled into a collection and hoped to publish later. The collection was titled Plain Tales from the Hills. 7 years later, Joseph moved to London, where he believed his literary works would gain wide reception. Fortunately, he became friends with a publisher who loved his stories and was willing to support him. With help from his new friend, he was able to publish his Plain Tales from the Hills collection, which became a huge success in England. This published work brought fame and recognition to Joseph. At the age of 42, after he had published other literary works, he received the 1907 Nobel Prize Award in Literature. Joseph later became one of the greatest writers of the 19th century, well known for his fascinating novels, poems, and short stories. There are different stages in life. There are stages everything is convenient and easy, while there are stages when things become terribly difficult and frustrating. When difficult times like this come, you would need to stay strong and succeed against all odds. Being able to survive and become great against all odds requires certain things. You need to be optimistic, devoted to your passion, and willing to get out of every mess you find yourself in. Robert Johnson said, "Believe in yourself and have confidence that you can compete against all odds." It's very important for you to have faith in yourself and your dream. Believe that you can succeed against all odds and you will find yourself winning. Don't lose faith and focus. You have to remain alive until your night turns to day. Robert Kiyosaki said, "Every successful person in life began by pursuing a passion, usually against all odds." Success doesn't come to people with weak spirits and those who are unable to stand and fight against their difficulties. Success is usually achieved by anyone who chooses to remain strong, surviving against the odds. Jesse Jackson said, "If you fall behind, run faster. Never give up, never surrender, and rise against the odds. Whenever you fall, always get back up with more strength. Don't give up on your vision, even though you have countless reasons why you should. Keep following your dreams and you will eventually survive against all odds." Joseph Rudyard Kipling succeeded against all odds. You too can do it. Don't be discouraged. Keep your faith alive.